Dear folks, take your group discussion book. It's in the page number 235 to 239. The topic here is private sector job is good or or public sector job is good. The topic here is private sector job is good or public sector job is good. See, everybody born in this world has to do some economical activities to not only to take care of himself, to take care of his family, or he or she. Not only taking care of them, they have to contribute to the society, the purpose of coming here in this world. So almost everybody has some obligation and duty to do, and what you're going to do, how you're going to lead your life. Are you going to work, or are you going to give work? Are you going to be an employee, or are you going to be an employer? And if so, in employee, two divisions are there. Either you work for the government or you work in a private organization. So which is good? This is the topic here. Especially in India, what we have is we have talented people, we have professionals, but not much of entrepreneur skills like US, UK, or European countries or Japanese countries, Japan. We don't have the entrepreneur skills. That's what we are lagging. So the topic here goes in all Indians, born, they aspire to be an employee, and preferably it's a government job. The choice is left to them, either government or private job. So here the topic goes. See the first topic, what's it given here? Public sector provides job security. No doubt about it, isn't it? Public sector provides job security, whereas private sector doesn't provide job security for the workers. Everybody agree with this topic? I don't know. It's a discussion topic. You have to discuss. Number two, on an average, a public sector employees work in the same company for almost 25 to 30 years. But whereas in a private company, the employees on an average work for 2 to 3 years, and after that he moves to other companies. Is it true? See, a government job, generally they don't resign and join in one other company. Once they get into railways or telecommunication or transport sector, they stick on till their lifetime. But in private company, they keep moving. On an average, for 3 years or 4 years, they work in a company. You don't find a single man or a woman working for the same private company till a life complete, all 50, 30 years of 35 years of service. But exceptions are there. Exceptions doesn't make a rule. Number third point, the pension plans are more attractive and offer much to the employees by the public sector, whereas in private sector they don't encourage pension plans. Is it so? A government sector, after you retire, you get a lot of benefits, but in private sector you don't have. Is it correct? Okay. Number four, public sector is purely based on nation's progress and development and not for profit. Is it true? It's for nation's development and profit. The public sectors develop and produce defense equipment, power generation, oil, coal mines, aviation, etc. Public sector provides allowances, subsidies. What do you mean by subsidies? Some concessions, leave, etc. to the government employees, and the workload is less compared to private sector. The private sectors are 100% profit oriented. Is it true? Private sectors are 100% profit oriented, but public sectors, they work for the development of the people. They work for the development of nations, like defense, like railways, like transport, education, for the development of upliftment of this underprivileged people. So this you have to find out and you have to say. See, number five, public sector provides status. Is it true? Public sector provides respect. Is it true? The government sector provides honor for the employees in the society, but private sector doesn't provide a permanent status and honor to their employees. Is it true? If you are a government employee, your status is high. If you are a private employee, your status is low. Is it true? This you have to tell during the times of discussion. During the times of recession, what do you mean by recession? Economical slowdown. In a country, there is no job opportunities, no employment opportunities, or during business losses, private companies dismiss their employees. Suppose a company is running in loss, if it's government side, they will somehow survive. but in private company they close. Is it true? But if public sector runs into losses, the government of India helps them. For example, what is that? Air India, UTI Unit Trust of India, LIC Life Insurance Corporation of India, Satyam Computers. So private companies, if they run under loss, they won't be able to do, but in government side they will help. Is it true? Right. Next, 7th point. Indian way of life is that men and women should take care of his family till his or her death. So his responsibilities are more than foreigners, but in Western countries the men and women have few family responsibilities, and public sector provides a lifelong money guarantor to Indian than the private sector. Is it true, my dear friends? See, the topic here is a duty of an Indian, a man or a woman, till death he is committed to his family. The husband should take care of his wife and children till his death. The wife should take care of the husband till his death. The father should take care of the son or daughter till his death. It is his obligation. So the government job provides him that particular needs of his social obligations to be fulfilled. It is taken care by government side and not in private side. Is it true? But in Western countries you don't have that problem. A man or woman is not committed to his family till his death. Once his son grows for the age of 18 or 20, that's all. The bond between them goes down and he lives an individual life. So this is a topic to be discussed. Okay, next, our public sector like banking, insurance, oil, etc. is wrong compared to many private sectors. Is wrong compared to private many in US and European countries during 2008. Many big public private sector companies in America closed down, but in India our public sector companies were not affected because of recession. See, for example, in US during the times of recession, what happened? Many public sector banks has closed. American banks, European bank, a lot of banks has closed down because of what? Because of a recession. But in India it is not affected because all the private government banks are controlled by, public sector banks are controlled by government. So it is saved. Many American banks have closed down because most of the American banks are run by private people. So it has closed, but India is not affected. Coming here, 10th point. Public sector employees are very much in demand in private sector, but for a private sector employee to get a job in public sector is difficult. Labor unions and strong and powerful in public sector, but labor unions are weak in private sector. Is it true? In private sector, the labor unions are very weak. You find in TCS you don't have any strong union. In private companies you don't have strong union, but in government sectors you find very strong, powerful this union members. So this is the topic here. So coming here, private sector is good, government sector is good. These are around 10 points we have seen. Now public sector is good. We are seeing around 8 points. See here, in a private sector there is no corruption involved. Is it true? No corruption involved in private sector, but almost all the public sectors are involved in corruption. Example, 2G spectrum, Commonwealth Games corruption, others housing corruption, where allotting the houses meant for Kargil soldiers were allotted to politicians. What do you think about this point? Private sector, no corruption, but in government sector, almost, you take railways corruption, you take transport sector corruption, you take ISRO, Space Research Organization corruption, you take various ministries like Information Ministry, Education Ministry, everywhere corruption. Is it true? Yes. Next, in a public sector we can see employees complacency. Complacency means what? Satisfaction towards their work, and they are not much interested to develop skill and talents. But in a private sector, the fear of job security makes the employees to develop their skills in their profession. Is it true? See, my dear friends, in public sector you see the public sector employee, he is so satisfied. He is not interested in learning new things because his job is secured. But in private sector, no, daily you should be alert because hundreds of people are there to pull his leg and come in his place and work. So he should be always in his 100% efficient manner. He has to learn new techniques, skills to be in the job. But in public sector, once you get a job, that's all. Complacency is there. So coming here to the point, to get a government job, not only your qualification is necessary, you should also have to have caste advantages. You should be SC, ST, BC, MBC, but in private sector, only your qualification, your skills and talents counts. Is it a valid point, my dear friend? See, you want to join in a private sector, you show I am a BC, I am an MBC, I am an SC, ST. No, it is not accepted. But in government job, 50% government job is allotted for what? For caste consideration. But in private sector, you don't have caste consideration. Is it good or bad? That you should argue and tell. Number 4th point, the time taken for promotion for the public sector employees is slow compared to private sector. Seniority plays an important role for promotion in public sector, but qualification and the talents of the employees play an important role for the promotion of employees in a private sector. Example, it takes decades, decades means 10 and more years, for a teacher to become a headmaster in a government school. Is it true, my dear friends? See, the point here is, once again I want to say, to get a promotion, it takes years and years for the government staff to show his talent, he is promoted according to the seniority. But in private, a young fellow who is 25 years, 24 years or 26 years, if he is talented, immediately he may be promoted. Within a single year, he may be the managing director. So, talents counts in private sector, but seniority counts in public sector for promotion. Okay, we are coming for 5th point. The work atmosphere and working environment is better in private sector than government sector. Is it true? The salary increments and promotions happen slow in public sector. Today's youngsters want to have various learning exposures to develop their skills, their talents, and want to have an international exposure. The private sector, multinational companies are a blessing for them. Is it true, my dear friends? Work atmosphere in private sector is more good. If you show your talents, they may send you to America. In TCS you work, you show your software skills. You work in Maruti, you show your talents. You may be posted anywhere in US, UK, Citibank you work in private banks. So you get a promotion and you can show your talents. International exposure can be got. Indian government, it is restricted only in India, but private companies, they have multinational exposure. In various countries they have branches, you get a international exposure. So in that way, is it good? Is left to you to discuss. And coming here, 6th point, some of the leading private companies do more social works than public companies. Is it true? For example, Tata's Research and Development Center runs hundreds of schools. Infosys provides a lot of company has adopted a lot of social work, and Birla Research Center contribute much for education, and HCL company has adapted hundreds of villages and they provide free education, and Ambani has allotted 2% of their profit money for the welfare of the society. See, number 6th point, you should understand what it is. Private companies do more social works. See, some of the private companies, they adapt the village, they adapt the schools, they adapt the colleges, they start their own organizations. For example, Tata's Research Organization has done a wonderful job by starting various companies. Kotaris, they have various schools and colleges. So they have adapted HCL, they have adapted hundreds of schools. They are doing a lot of things. Yes, coming here, in private sectors, strikes, hartals are never to be seen. no strikes and hartals. So they provide continual service to the people, but in a public sectors are limited only to public sorry, once again, see, public sectors are limited only to a nation. They don't have multinational style. No, it's very wrong. Sorry, it's here. Sorry. Once again, number 7, in private sector, strikes, hartals are never to be seen. So they provide continuous service to the people. But in a public sector, strikes, bunds, hartals are common, and people get affected if the public sector employees go for their strike, like banking strike, Air India strike, and government bus strike. So my dear friends, here, private sectors, they don't go for strike, but in government sector, mind you, if railways, they go in for a strike, transport people, they go in for a strike, banking, they go in for a strike, gas and supply, they go in for a strike, government hospitals, if they go in for a strike, what happened? Who will be suffering most? The people who depend upon them. So they suffer a lot. Coming here, the 8th point, public sectors are limited only to a nation. They don't have multinational style, isn't it? Okay, of having branches in different countries. The public sector employees don't have international exposures, whereas the private sector employees who work in multinational companies go and work all around the world, and they get rich international exposure. So by international exposure, what we see is these private companies are able to provide. So public sector is good, 10 points here. Private sector is good, 8 points are here. So I leave this topic to the floor. You have to discuss and say which sector is good. Is it private or is it public? So நண்பர்களே, உங்களுடைய கூட்டு விவாத புத்தகம் 235 39 வரைக்கும் எடுத்துக்கொண்டுக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா, அரசாங்க வேலை சிறந்ததா தனியார் துறை வேலை சிறந்ததா என்கிற தலைப்பு. மனிதாக பிறக்கப்பட்டவன் ஏதோ ஒரு வேலை செய்து கொண்டே இருக்க வேண்டும். ஒன்று அவன் அரசாங்க வேலையில் சேரணும், அல்லது தனியார் துறையில் வேலை செய்ய வேண்டும், அல்லது அவன் சொந்தமாக தொழில் தொடங்க வேண்டும். இந்தியர்களின் சொந்த முதலாளியாகக்கூடிய அந்த திறன்கள் குறைவாக இருக்கிற காரணத்தினாலே அநேக இந்தியர்கள் ஒன்று அரசாங்க வேலையை தேர்ந்தெடுக்கிறார்கள், அல்லது தனியார் துறை வேலையை தேர்ந்தெடுக்கிறார்கள். இப்பொழுது அரசாங்கத்துறை தான் சிறந்தது என்கிற தலைப்பில் நீங்கள் பார்க்க போகிற பாயிண்ட் பாருங்கள், 10 பாயிண்ட் இருக்கிறது. முதல் பாயிண்ட் வந்து என்ன எடுத்திருக்கோம், அதில் ஜாப் செக்யூரிட்டி என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய வேலை நிரந்தரத்தன்மை, பாதுகாப்பு, வேலை பாதுகாப்பு இருக்கிறது அப்படிங்கிறது பப்ளிக் செக்டாரில் நம்ம பார்க்கிறோம். இரண்டாவதாக, ஒரு பப்ளிக் செக்டார், ஒரு கம்பெனி பப்ளிக் செக்டாரில் வேலை செய்யக்கூடிய அரசாங்க வேலையில் இருக்கக்கூடியவன் குறைந்தது 30லிருந்து 35 ஆண்டு காலம் அதே நிறுவனத்தில் வேலை செய்கிறார். ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே வேலை செய்யக்கூடியவர்கள் 2-3 ஆண்டுகளிலே வேறு கம்பெனிக்கு மாறிக்கொண்டே இருக்கிறார்கள். ஸோ சராசரியாக 2-3 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு மேல் ஒருத்தர் ஒரே நிறுவனத்தில் தனியார் கம்பெனியில் வேலை செய்து கொண்டிருக்க மாட்டார். அடுத்ததாக பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, மூன்றாவது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, அரசாங்கத்துறை தான் சிறந்தது என்கிற வருகிற பொழுது, இங்கே வேலை முடிந்து ஓய்வூதிய திட்டங்கள் அரசாங்க நிறுவனங்கள் நன்றாக கொடுக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே ஓய்வூதியம் அதிகமாக கொடுப்பதில்லை. நான்காவது பாயிண்ட், அரசாங்க நிறுவனங்கள் தேசத்தினுடைய ஒரு வளர்ச்சிக்காக தங்களை தாங்களே ஈடுபடுத்திக் கொள்கிறார்கள். உதாரணத்திற்காக பாதுகாப்பு சாதனங்களை உருவாக்குதல், அடுத்ததாக கோல் மைன்ஸை உருவாக்குதல், ஆயில் பெட்ரோலியம் உருவாக்குவோம் துறைகளிலே இவர்கள் சிறந்து விளங்குகிறார்கள். ஸோ ஆனால் தனியார் துறைவர்கள் 100% லாபத்தை ஒரே நோக்காக அவர்கள் இயங்கிக் கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் பொதுத்துறை நிறுவனங்கள் மக்களின் சேவையை ஒன்றையே மனதில் நினைத்து கொண்டு அவர்கள் வேலை செய்கிறார்கள். ஐந்தாவது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, பப்ளிக் செக்டர் அரசாங்க கம்பெனியிலே வேலை செய்யும் பொழுது ஒருவனுடைய அந்தஸ்து உயர்கிறது. ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே அந்த அந்தஸ்து உயர்வதில்லை. ஆறாவது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இந்த பொருளாதார பின்னடைவு ஏற்படுகிற பொழுது, நாட்டிலே பொருளாதார வளர்ச்சி இல்லாத பொழுது இந்த தனியார் துறைகள் மூடிவிடுகிறார்கள். ஆனால் அரசாங்க துறைகள் நிலைத்து நிற்கிறது. ஏனென்றால் அரசாங்கத்தினுடைய அவர்களுடைய ஒரு உற்சாகமும் உதவியும் இந்த அரசாங்க நிறுவனங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கிறது. அடுத்ததாக 7வது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இந்தியாவிலே இந்தியர்களுடைய வாழ்க்கை கலாச்சாரம் என்னவென்று பார்த்தீர்கள் என்றால், ஒரு ஆணோ ஒரு பெண்ணோ இந்தியாவில் பிறந்துவிட்டால் அவன் தன்னுடைய குடும்பத்திற்கும் அவன் தன்னுடைய சமுதாயத்திற்கும் ஆற்ற வேண்டிய கடமை அவன் சாகும் வரை இருக்கிறது. அவன் குடும்பத்தாரை அவன் சாகும் வரை பார்த்து கொள்ள வேண்டும். அதை போன்ற ஒரு கடமை உணர்ச்சியுள்ள ஒரு இந்தியனுக்கு அரசாங்கத்துறை வேலைதான் சிறந்தது என்கிற பாயிண்ட்டை பார்க்குறோம். 7வது பாயிண்ட். 8வது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, 8வது பாயிண்ட் அந்த பேங்கிங். அந்த பேங்கிங் என்றால் வங்கிகள்னு பார்க்கும்பொழுது வங்கிகள் தான் பணத்தை பாதுகாப்பாக வைத்து இருக்கக்கூடிய பொதுத்துறை நிறுவனங்கள். அதில் பார்த்திங்கன்னா அமெரிக்கா போன்ற நாடுகளிலே தனியார் துறை வங்கிகளை அநேகமாக தனியார் துறைகள் தான் நடத்தி கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் இந்தியாவில் பார்த்திங்கன்னா அரசாங்க துறைகள் தான் வங்கிகளை நடத்தி கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். ஸோ இந்த ரிசெஷன் என்று 2008 ரிசெஷன் அமெரிக்கா யூரோப்பிய நாடுகளிலே பொருளாதார பின்னடைவு ஏற்படும் பொழுது இந்தியா எந்த விதமான பாதிப்பும் அடையாத காரணம் என்னவென்று பார்த்தீர்கள் என்றால், அநேக வங்கித்துறைகள் அனைத்தும் அரசாங்கம் கைவசமே இருந்தது. அடுத்ததாக பார்த்தீர்கள் என்றால் 9வது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, பொதுவாகவே பொதுத்துறை நிறுவனங்களிலே அங்கே வேலை செய்யக்கூடிய ஆட்களுக்கு பொறுப்புகள் அதிகம். உதாரணத்துக்கு I.A.S, I.P.S ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ், உதாரணத்துக்கு LIC ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ், உதாரணத்துக்கு ரயில்வே ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ், உதாரணத்திற்கு வேறு என்ன யாரையெல்லாம் சொல்லலாம், நிலப்பதிவு அதிகாரிகளை சொல்லலாம், மருத்துவர்களை சொல்லலாம். அவர்களுக்கு மிகப்பெரிய பொறுப்புகள் இருக்கிறது. ஆனால் தனியார் துறை வேலை செய்யக்கூடிய அதிகாரிகளுக்கு இவர்களைப் போல ஒரு பொறுப்புகள் அதிகமாக இல்லை. அடுத்ததாக பொதுவாகவே அரசாங்க கம்பெனிகளில் வேலை செய்து முடித்தவர்களுக்கு தனியார் துறைகளிலே அவர்களுக்கு வேலை வாய்ப்பு உடனடியாக கொடுக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே வேலை செய்து அவரை அரசாங்கத்திற்கு வேலைக்கு தேர்ந்தெடுக்கக்கூடிய வாய்ப்புகள் ரொம்ப குறைவாக இருக்கிறது. ஸோ இதுதான் 10 பாயிண்ட். இந்த அரசாங்கத்துறை தான் சிறந்தது என்கிற தலைப்பிலே நாம் பேசுகிறோம். இல்லை பிரைவேட் துறை தான் சிறந்தது என்று சொல்லும் பொழுது, உதாரணத்துக்கு அனைத்து கரப்ஷன் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய லஞ்சங்கள் இந்த நாட்டிலே நடைபெற்ற அனைத்து லஞ்சத்திற்கும் மூல காரணம் நம்ம பொதுத்துறை நிறுவனங்கள் தான் அதிகமாக லஞ்சம் ஏற்பட்டது. ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே எந்த விதமான லஞ்சங்களை நீங்கள் பார்க்க வாய்ப்பே கிடையாது. உதாரணத்துக்கு 2G ஸ்பெக்ட்ரம் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய அலைவரிசை ஊழல், உதாரணத்திற்கு காமன்வெல்த் கேம்ஸ் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய அந்த விளையாட்டு துறையிலே ஊழல், உதாரணத்திற்கு வேறு என்ன ஆதர்ஷ் ஹவுசிங் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய கார்கில் போர் வீரர்களுக்கு அவர்கள் இறந்தவர்களுக்காக ஒதுக்கப்பட்ட வீடுகளை மந்திரிகளும் I.A.S ஆஃபீஸர்களும் எடுத்துக்கொண்ட ஒரு பரிதாப நிகழ்ச்சியை பார்ப்பீர்கள். ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே அது இல்லை. 2வது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, பொதுத்துறை நிறுவனத்திலே வேலை செய்யக்கூடியவர்கள் திருப்தி தன்மை இருக்கிறது. அவர்கள் தங்களுடைய தொழில் திறமைகளை வளர்த்தி கொள்வதற்காக எந்த முயற்சியும் செய்து கொள்வதில்லை. ஒன்று அரசாங்க வேலையில் சேர்ந்து விட்டால் சாகும் வரைக்கு தனக்கு எந்த விதமான வேலை நீக்க அச்சுறுத்தலே இல்லை என்கிற காரணத்தினாலே அவர்கள் நிம்மதியாக இருக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் தனியார் துறையில் அப்படி இல்லை. அன்றாடம் தினந்தோறும் அவர்களுடைய திறன்களை அவர்கள் வளர்த்தி கொண்டே இருக்க வேண்டும். அடுத்ததாக 3வது, தனியார் துறையிலே எந்த ஜாதி அடிப்படையிலேயோ மத அடிப்படையிலேயோ அல்லது அவர்களுக்கு வேலை வாய்ப்பு கிடைப்பதில்லை. ஆனால் அரசாங்க துறையிலே நீங்கள் வேலைக்கு சேர வேண்டும் என்றால் உங்கள் கல்வி தகுதி மட்டும் பார்ப்பதில்லை, உங்கள் திறன்களை மட்டும் பார்ப்பதில்லை, உங்கள் ஜாதியையும் பார்க்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே அந்த ஜாதி பிரச்சனைகளே கிடையாது. திறமைக்குத்தான் முக்கியத்துவம். அடுத்ததாக 4வது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, வேலை உயர்வு. இது அரசாங்க கம்பெனிகளிலே வேலை செய்யும் பொழுது பதவி உயர்வு கிடைப்பதற்கு ஆண்டுகள் பல ஆகும். ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே நீங்கள் அந்த துறையிலே திறமையாக இருந்தீர்கள் என்றால் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஆண்டுக்குள்ளேயே நீங்கள் மேலாளர் பதவியை அடைந்து விடலாம். 5வது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, வேலை செய்யக்கூடிய சூழ்நிலை பார்த்தீங்கன்னா தனியார் துறையிலே நன்றாக இருக்கிறது. அவர்கள் மிகச்சிறந்த அலுவலகங்களை வைத்திருக்கிறார்கள். வேலைக்காக பயிற்சிக்காக வெளிநாடுகள் சென்று நீங்கள் பயிற்சி எடுக்கக்கூடிய வாய்ப்புகளையும் அவர்கள் வழங்குகிறார்கள். அடுத்ததாக 6வது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, சில தனியார் நிறுவனங்கள் மிகப்பெரிய தொண்டுகளை செய்து கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். மக்களுக்காக பல கல்வி கூடங்களை திறந்திருக்கிறார்கள், கல்லூரிகளை திறந்திருக்கிறார்கள், பல கிராமங்களை தத்தெடுத்துக்கொண்டு அவர்களுக்காக சேவை செய்யக்கூடியதை பார்க்கிறீர்கள். இன்ஃபோசிஸும் ஒரு HCLும் ஒரு டாட்டாஸும் நிறைய சேவைகளை பண்ணி கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். ஸோ அடுத்ததாக 7வது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, பொதுத்துறை நிறுவனங்களிலே நீங்கள் அதிக அளவு நிறுத்தத்தை பார்க்கிறீர்கள், ஹர்த்தால்களை பார்க்கிறீர்கள், பந்துகளை பார்ப்பீர்கள். ஆனால் தனியார் துறையிலே இந்த மாதிரி எந்த விதமான வேலை தடைகள், வேலை பிரச்சனைகள் இருப்பதை நீங்கள் பார்க்க முடியாது. அடுத்ததாக 8வது பாயிண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, ஒரு மத்திய அரசாங்கமோ அல்லது மாநில அரசாங்கத்திலேயோ வேலைக்கு சேர்ந்து விட்டீர்கள் என்றால், உதாரணத்துக்கு தமிழ்நாட்டிலே அரசாங்க வேலையில் சேர்ந்து விட்டீர்கள் என்றால் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ளேயே தான் நீங்கள் வாழ முடியும். மத்திய அரசாங்கத்திலே வேலை செய்து கொண்டீர்கள் என்றால் இந்தியாவிற்குள்ளே தான் வாழ முடியும். ஆனால் ஒரு தனியார் துறையிலே சேர்ந்து விட்டால், உதாரணத்திற்கு ஒரு இன்ஃபோசிஸோ, டாட்டா அல்லது ஹுண்டாயோ, ஒரு சாண்ட்ரோ அல்லது ஒரு மாருதி, இந்த மாதிரி தனியார் துறையில் கம்பெனிகள் சேர்ந்து விட்டால் உலகத்தில் எந்த மூலைக்கும் நீங்கள் சென்று வேலை செய்யலாம். ஏனென்றால் இந்த தனியார் நிறுவனங்கள் சர்வதேச அளவிலே தங்கள் நிறுவனத்தை பரப்பி இருக்கிறார்கள். ஸோ சர்வதேச வேலை சூழ்நிலைகளை நீங்கள் பார்த்து அனுபவிக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு வாய்ப்பை பெற்றிருப்பீர்கள். ஸோ இத்தனை பாயிண்ட் பார்த்துருக்கீங்க. அரசாங்க வேலை தான் சிறந்தது, தனியார் வேலை தான் சிறந்தது என்று. அதுக்கப்புறம் சொந்தமாக தொழில் ஆரம்பிக்க வேண்டும், அது நம்ம தலைப்பில் இல்லை. ஆனால் நீங்கள் அதை பற்றியும் பேசலாம். ஸோ இந்த கூட்டு விவாதத்தை உங்களிடம் விட்டுவிடுகிறேன். நீங்கள் தொடர்ந்து உங்களுடைய விவாதத்தை செய்யுங்கள். நன்றி. தேங்க்யூ.
Good evening, friends. Today we are going to talk about public sector as a good or private sector as a good. Now our side is public sector. I would say public sector provides us job security, lifelong money guarantee, permanent status, pension plans, living place, quarters. As well, public servants all are working for nation, but private sectors, everybody is working for profit. They are not secure for a job. If they are not getting a proper perfect, they will keeping move to another company, etc. And public sector gives us status, honor, respects among our social members. We can get social status to be live with our surroundings.
Good. Kalaivani has told some valid points that public sector is good rather than private sector. So what is your point, madam? What do you think about her view, and what do you think?
Today we speak about private sector. Private sector is globalized companies, and most of the employees are depends upon the various countries, various training, various needs they have. Private sector always secure for life, and then more salaries, benefits, infrastructure also comfortable for them. So private sector is good.
So private sector is good. What do you think, madam? What is your point of view?
Good evening, friends. Today there is discussion which sector is the better, private or public. So according to me, I think today according to me public sector is the better, mainly for the ladies it is very nice. First is the job security is there, that is very important. Because of that we have our mind will be in relaxation, no competition is there. And another thing that good salary, and government provides good salary, houses also, pension schemes also, and public sector that is fully based on the nation wise, not the profit wise. Whether there is recession, by the recession comes in the country, public sector doesn't it is not being in under effect. So their workers and employees are very sure that their job is permanent, and public sector, their employees have a status, and whatever status they are having, but they have, and mainly on all these in a higher post is I.A.S, I.P.S, those public sector employees are there. They are not chosen from the private sector, and they can only that if they are I.S, I.P.S, they can run the country. They only are running the country.
I think private company. I think private company is good because that side somebody told that every time move to another company. This end of the company should be have that the company is end of the company. You are making the one company. I think. Say here Metropolitans ongoing there. L&T is from private company. Itself this only two people is making that. That's why today, still now, L&T give the job of more than 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh jobs for employees.
According to my point, private sector is good because of public sector they given to jobs all persons. In private sector is given to jobs all persons. One of the thing in public sector they didn't find the knowledge and skill. In private sector you easily find the knowledge and skills given to the chance to the promotions. And one of the times going to abroad also.
Public sector employees are very much in demand in private companies, but for a private sector employee it is not easy to get a job in public sector as difficult labor unions are strong, and the top public sector employees like collectors, I.P.S officers, income tax officers, judges, government, etc., bank managers, railways executives, auditors, talents, these people have more responsibilities.
Okay, today I had a nice chance to speak about the private sectors. I think I'm happy to say a few points. Miss Kalaivani and Mrs. Madri, they have pointed out what are all the uses, job security, and especially for the women. And there is no competition. I think they have accepted that one. And Indian high officials are all from government offices. They were telling all these points. But I have few things to share that private sector is good, and in the future it will give lot of job opportunities for the employees. For the first point, in the public sector, you go and work. But what happens in the private sector? You give work to others. An important point we have to consider. We have to consider this point. We are not going somewhere else. We are not begging others for the work and all. We give work to others. Maybe from the small scale industry, multinational sectors, we have our own skills and talents, and there is a nice chance for us. They come and ask, they demand, you come to our company, you come to our factory because you are skillful, you are capable, you have lot of technical knowledge. They invite us and they respect our talents and skills. Second point that I know today our parents like to send our boys and girls where? To government college? To government school? Where do they want to send their children? To get more knowledge, skillful knowledge, to private schools, to private colleges. So we have to take care of. The one thing, if you are sick, do you go to government hospital? I don't think so. And because workload is less, yes, we have to take care of that one. Workload is less, then what is there to say? Here in public sector, we can challenge others. We can give job to others. That's the thing, one point I want to share. Another thing is labor unions. We have in the public sector, we have labor unions. At any time we can raise up our voice. Yes, once it was. Now what happens? Trade unions are all based on individual parties. If you go to a trade union, there you will see so many parties, ADMK, DMK, PMK. Where is there a possibility to unite the workers, to raise their voice, to get their rights? There is no possibility at all. Always they support the ruling party and always oppose the party who is in the second rank. So labor unions to get our rights and all, I don't think so nowadays. The fourth one is the very important one. We have to consider it, that corruption. Every day newspaper we see one corruption. 2G spectrum, Commonwealth Games corruption, others housing corruption, and it will come 3G, 4G and all, we will come to know. And you said all the government officials we see, they take care of our country. And these high officials are the sole reasons for the corruption. They are supposed to lead the country towards the a new society, towards a new goal where all will have all the rights equally treated. But here, what happens? They do as they wish. Their personal, their pockets are filled. But what about the people that who voted for them, who elected them? These high officials are biased on the ruling party. So, with all this point, I would like to conclude to say that private sector is good and it gives, it strengthens, it helps us to improve our skillful knowledge. Thank you.
My dear friend, just you told that there are some good points of that private sector, like there is corruption in the government sector and not in the private sector.
1 minute. Mic on.
Very close. Very close. Number eriyada? Number therida? மேல தூக்கி விட்டீங்கன்னா நம்பர் உள்ள எழுத்துக்கெல்லாம் தெரியுதா? மேல ஃபுல்லா ஓ மைக் வேலை சார்.
ஆஃப் பண்ணாதீங்க, அது அப்படியே அதே பொசிஷன்.
Hello.
Wait.
Hello. My dear friend, just you told that there is corruption in the public sector and which is not in the private sector. I'm telling, if the government will give authority to the private sector like that to run the government and some government hospitals also and some other type of like buildings also like others society, if that is run by the private sector, definitely those people will also make the corruption. It doesn't mean that those private sector people, they are very honest and they do not make any the corruption, but because they don't have to make the authority, therefore only they are not able to make the corruption. Even though I'm telling
Mike is not given what to do.
and but everywhere there is the corruption. In private sector is also this quality, who is making the buttering to the boss on bigger officer, that only getting the promotions. That is also main thing in the government, and after some years, 5 years and 6 years, they are getting the promotions. And one more thing, that all those some sectors are there which are not given to the private, like the banking. If the RBI, it cannot be that control is not cannot give to the private sector. There will be more corruption then, and not only it will be uncontrollable.
Oh, you are afraid that there also will be a corruption, so you are not given to the private sector. Now I am asking, you leave all the banks and other offices that government officials lead. You see, is there any private company has this corruption problem? Only the government sectors, only the public sectors. If you allow the private sectors, there will be you can see more growth, more development, maybe we can say less corruption.
Okay,
but
sir.
here you see all are they are job security, so they are not afraid of anything else.
All the
They are ready for the corruption. From the police station in the one street to up to the PM, up to the PM office itself, we see all the public sectors.
In another
we
type,
see
there in
corruption.
private sector also there is the corruption. That is in another type. Have you heard that about in Satyam Computer some years back? It was in its name was very famous, and because of its employed, he was in official rank. He made the corruption. That is the private sector. He made the corruption, and its market value goes down, very down. So we cannot say that there is not the corruption, but that is another type of corruption.
There are so many private
Criticism is
sectors.
also
You are
there.
telling about only one matter about Satyam Computers, but I am listing every day newspaper issue on corruption. One DSP is got, one Tahsildar is got, one VAO is got, one MP is
Okay,
doing
there is
all
corruption.
things. MLA.
Mobilization is there in the private sector, not in the public
I am
sector.
telling about the less.
Humanization is not, I think, not in the government sector. Only it is in the private sector. No, if employee is talented, boss doesn't like that, he can humiliate that. Bigger officer can humiliate to this one. In the government sector, public sector, it is not. So humiliation is that in the public private sector only. And because there is not much corruption, what the reason? Because they know that if they will make the corruption daily, there is the what is the amount is
So
coming.
you like
company
corruption in the public sector?
No.
You want to support there should be a corruption in the public sector.
No. I am not
Then you
supporting.
say
But the honest people are also are there available in the public sector. If it is not, then how those government hospitals are running, railway is running.
Crores
Some
and
people-
crores of money within 1 month is the people's money goes back to one man's pocket. In private it's a sector, it's not like that. Maybe there may be one factory where they we see 100% or persons are working, but in
Sir,
public sector the whole country believe them, the high officials, but they cheat. This is the more humanization.
Okay, sir. Some departments are there, like foreign affair department. Can is a handover to private company?
I am
No,
not
cannot.
talking about
So
that you
many
go to
departments
you
are
hand
there in
over all the
public
things to
sector which
them.
are never can be handed over to any private sector.
Okay. When public is bound to the Satyam counter from Satyam counter corruption, that government cancel this license, but the government is corruption. What do you do?
Anybody is dismissed, any action is taken, buffers full.
You do something. You can do something to government.
take action.
Private
No, I
What is
cannot.
I
I
understand.
totally am not telling that totally in favor of the public sector, but some advantages are there in the public sector. We cannot ignore them. Lot of for ladies it is very better.
We had a wonderful discussion, and Madhuri says for ladies is the best government job, safe and secured, and why are all the risky jobs, let it go to men. That's what she says. She is being gender biased, I think so. Only for females have a government job, and for not for men. This is a very important.
Kalpana Chawla, doll, they are all flying. Why you ladies?
He says Chawla is flying. Why can't you fly?
All these troubles and problems, you have to take it as your challenges. You have to take all these problems as challenges and you face them. Don't go for this job security. You want security in your family, in your house, wherever you go. Then when you will meet the challenges.
Public sector, all employees up to retirement working only one department. But private sector, they will go around the world.
But you think about the army who is protecting us from that
It's
our
okay.
boundaries.
That's duty.
Duty. So
Yeah,
who is giving this duty? Only the government is giving. Because of the government sector only, those employees, they are going in the army.
They are working within the country. But
Within the
private
country, also, within the country, they are protecting us from our China, Pakistan. How we are suffering because of them only. If no government employees
In
are
our
not
country,
there, no
that
army is
problem
not
is
there. Think about army. Because of army, we are safe in our country. Otherwise,
No, don't say like that. Because of army, women are suffering, in Manipur. 2-3 years before, hundreds of women in front of the army gate, they undressed in front of the army gate in Manipur.
These are
Hundreds
few,
of
sir,
women,
these are very few
they undressed.
incidents.
You rape us. Indian army, you rape us. You try to rape our women and children. You rape us. They are
Those are
undressed.
few
They are naked
incidents, sir.
in front of the gate protesting. So you don't say Indian army is safeguarding. They are violating their rules and they try to suppress whenever we raise our voice.
who are facing those bullets which they are getting from that opposite country? Army only. Some few incidents are there, but we cannot say cannot ignore the armies.
There is something.
We cannot ignore them. We should respect them. If some few peoples are there, few army soldiers are there, okay. But most of the
So okay,
army
madam.
units,
Who was collection from income tax from public?
who is? That's the intelligent question. I can't know.
Okay, then let us end the discussion. We had a quite interesting discussion, and private job or government job or it is own business, whatever it is, we have to put our 100% effort, the sincerity, the responsibility, the integrity which you should show in your work, make India one of the developed nations. So each one is bound to his consciousness and his conscience he should answer his conscience and do his duty. Thank you very much.